Imagine waking up tomorrow to a news alert so seismic it reshapes the entire global financial landscape. This isn't a drill, and it's not a theoretical exercise from an economic textbook. The long-anticipated, fiercely debated revaluation of the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong is no longer whispered rumor in the back channels of international finance, but a tangible, unfolding reality that is right now sending shockwaves through central banks and investment firms from Wall Street to Hong Kong. For decades, these two currencies have been the subject of intense speculation, often dismissed by mainstream financial analysts as hopeless gambles. But what we are witnessing today is the culmination of a perfect storm of geopolitical maneuvering, profound economic reforms, and hard, undeniable data points that signal a paradigm shift is upon us. A shift that promises to rewrite the fortunes of nations and the individual savvy enough to understand the signals before the rest of the world catches on. Let's be unequivocally clear from the outset. The evidence for this movement is not based on forum posts or hopeful prophecies, but on a concrete series of actions taken by the governments of Iraq and Vietnam, actions that align perfectly with the established playbook for managed currency revaluation, intended to integrate a national currency into the global mainstream at a significantly higher exchange rate. Starting with Iraq, the Central Bank of Iraq has executed a multi-pronged strategy that is textbook preparation for revaluation. First, they have aggressively been mopping up the massive quantities of physical dinar notes in circulation, a critical step to reduce money supply and increase the tangible value of each remaining unit. And they've done this through sophisticated currency auctions that have pulled trillions of dinars out of the economy and back into the central bank's vaults to be destroyed. Second, and perhaps more importantly, Iraq has formally and officially dropped the US dollar from all of its internal and external transactions, a monumental move towards financial sovereignty that decouples their economy from the direct influence of the Federal Reserve and allows the dinar to stand on its own merits, a move that would be financial suicide if they did not possess immense confidence in the dinar's inherent strength, a strength backed by what is arguably the world's most valuable natural resource, oil. Iraq sits on proven oil reserves of over 145 billion barrels, and with new extraction technologies and exploration deals, that number is climbing, meaning every single dinar in existence is backed by a staggering amount of black gold wealth, a fundamental asset base that provides a rock-solid floor for its value, a fact that is often conveniently ignored by the naysayers. Furthermore, the Iraqi government has successfully navigated a period of unprecedented political stability, passing a federal budget that operates on a projected exchange rate far higher than the current street rate, a clear signal of their internal confidence, and they have been engaging in high-level talks with the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, not for emergency bailouts, for strategic integration into the global financial system as a peer, not a debt. Now, shift your gaze to Southeast Asia, to Vietnam, and you will see an almost parallel story unfolding with breathtaking speed. The State Bank of Vietnam has been deliberately and consistently strengthening the dong against the US dollar for multiple consecutive quarters. Controlled and steady appreciation that is a classic precursor to a larger revaluation event. Vietnam's economy is no longer a nascent developing market. It is a global manufacturing powerhouse, a key link in the supply chain for everything from Samsung electronics to Apple accessories, boasting a GDP growth rate that consistently dwarfs that of Western nations. And this explosive economic output creates a powerful organic demand for the Vietnamese Dong that simply did not exist a decade ago. Foreign direct investment is pouring into the country at a record-breaking pace, forcing international corporations to convert their dollars and euros into dong to pay local workers and build local infrastructure, creating a sustained structural upward pressure on the currency's value that the central bank is now choosing to manage rather than suppress. The combination of these two powerful forces, Iraq's resource-backed financial liberation and Vietnam's export-driven economic boom, creates a synergistic wave that is now crashing onto the global shore. And for the astute observer, the question is no longer if, but when and how high the final revaluation numbers will be set. This is the information the mainstream financial media is not telling you, but the data doesn't lie, and the tectonic plates of the global economy are shifting right now. Now, to truly grasp the monumental scale of what a coordinated IQD and VND revaluation means, you must look beyond the currency tickers and understand the deliberate, calculated collapse of the petrodollar system that has been orchestrated over the past few years. A silent financial revolution that has now reached its tipping point and provides the essential global context for why this revaluation is not just possible but inevitable. For nearly 50 years, The global oil trade has been denominated almost exclusively in US dollars, an arrangement that created artificial, perpetual global demand for the dollar and allowed the United States to run massive deficits without facing the typical economic consequences. But that era is conclusively over, as evidenced by the landmark deal between Iraq and China, where Iraq began selling oil to China directly in Chinese yuan, not US dollars, a move that would have been unthinkable a decade ago, and which fundamentally shatters the dollar's stranglehold on Iraq's primary export. When Iraq, a cornerstone of OPEC and a nation with one of the world's largest oil reserves, decides to bypass the dollar, it sends a cataclysmic signal to the entire world that the old rules no longer apply. And it simultaneously liberates the Iraqi dinar from its indirect tether to the dollar, allowing it to find its true asset-backed value based on the immense wealth of the nation, a value that has been suppressed for decades since the days of Saddam Hussein. This isn't just about Iraq and Vietnam acting in isolation. This is about a global, multipolar realignment where the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with their expanding list of partners, are actively creating a new financial ecosystem that operates outside of Western-dominated institutions, and a stronger dinar and dong are absolutely crucial pieces of this new puzzle, serving as stable, reliable regional currencies for trade and investment in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, respectively. Think about the practical mechanics for a moment. If you are an international corporation looking to build a factory in Vietnam, you no longer have to worry about the dong being a volatile, weakening currency, a revalue. Strong dong makes Vietnam an even more attractive destination for long-term capital, stabilizing the entire business environment and attracting a higher tier of investor. Similarly for Iraq, a revalued dinar is the key to national renaissance. It allows them to rebuild their infrastructure, from roads and schools to hospitals and power grids, without being crushed by dollar-denominated debt. And it instantly increases the purchasing power of every single Iraqi citizen, transforming the nation from a post-conflict economy into a prosperous, consumer-driven market almost overnight. The data supporting this transition is overwhelming. Look at the official foreign reserve holdings of both Iraq and Vietnam, which have been climbing to record levels, providing a massive war chest to defend their new, higher exchange rates against any speculative attacks, a clear sign of central bank confidence and preparation. Furthermore, the inflation numbers in both countries, which were once a serious concern, have been brought under remarkable control through stringent monetary policy. Another critical prerequisite for a successful revaluation that maintains its value over time and doesn't spiral into hyperinflation. This is why the narrative that these currencies are merely play money for speculators is not just outdated, it is dangerously incorrect. We are witnessing the formal monetization of two entire national economies onto the world stage, a process similar to when the euro was first introduced, which also required a massive time revaluation of the constituent national currencies that formed it. The velocity of money within Iraq and Vietnam is also increasing dramatically, a key indicator of a healthy, growing economy where currency is changing hands quickly for goods and services, not sitting stagnant. And this internal economic vitality provides a powerful, organic foundation for a higher external value. The convergence of these factors, the petrodollar's demise, the rise of a multipolar financial world, disciplined central banking, and booming internal economies, creates an irrefutable logical case that what we are seeing is a carefully managed, historically significant financial event, not a speculative bubble. The groundwork has been laid in plain sight for those who know where to look, and the final pieces are now falling into place, setting the stage for a wealth transfer that will be studied in economic history books for generations to come. So, the critical question that remains for you right here, right now, is not whether this global financial wave is real. The data confirms it is, but precisely what you should be doing to position yourself to not just witness history, but to actively participate in it and secure your financial future before the window of opportunity slams shut for good. Let's be brutally honest about the alternative sitting on the sidelines, paralyzed by skepticism fed by the same mainstream financial channels that have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo. Means you risk missing what is arguably the single greatest currency appreciation event of our lifetimes, an event that has the potential to create a new class of millionaires from everyday individuals who had the foresight to see the truth hidden in plain sight. Think about the people who recognized the potential of Bitcoin when it was worth mere pennies, or those who invested in Amazon stock before the dot-com boom truly took off. They were not geniuses. They were simply individuals who saw a fundamental shift happening before it became a mainstream headline. and they had the courage to take a calculated position based on evidence and a clear vision of the future. And that is the exact same crossroads you are standing at today with the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. This is not about gambling, this is about strategic, informed positioning based on the macroeconomic facts we have just laid out. The death of the petrodollar, the meteoric rise of the Vietnamese economy, the trillions of dinars being removed from circulation, and the explicit policy moves by both central banks to strengthen their currencies, all of which point to a single, inescapable conclusion that the current street rate is a temporary anomaly, a relic of a bygone era that is about to be violently corrected to reflect the true asset-backed strength of these nations. Imagine the life-changing possibilities that a successful revaluation could unlock for you. Complete debt elimination, from your mortgage to your car payments and student loans, forever freeing you from the monthly grind and the anxiety that comes with it. The ability to fund your children's or grandchildren's education at any university in the world without them starting their adult lives burdened by six-figure loans. The power to invest in a diversified portfolio of income-generating assets that creates generational wealth for your family line, ensuring your legacy lasts for decades. And perhaps most importantly, the gift of true time freedom, the ability to retire on your own terms, to travel the world, to pursue your passions, and to wake up every single day knowing that your financial security is guaranteed not by a paycheck, but by the smart, decisive move you made when the opportunity was presented to you. The path to this future, however, requires immediate and decisive action. This is not a situation where you can wait for the Reuters or CNN headline to confirm the revaluation, because by that time, the gates will have already closed, the new rate will be live, and the opportunity to acquire these currencies at their current historic lows will have vanished forever, leaving you on the outside looking in, forever wondering, what if? Your journey starts today, right now, with a simple step that separates the dreamers from the achievers. You need to align yourself with a reputable, authoritative source for both information and acquisition, a platform that provides not only secure access to these currencies, but also a continuous stream of verified data-driven intelligence to keep you informed every step of the way. I have done the exhaustive research for you and have vetted the most reliable sources in the industry. The link to the premier currency exchange platform I personally use and trust is waiting for you in the description below this video. Do not delay, click that link, secure your position in this historic financial shift, and take control of your destiny. Then, make your voice part of this global conversation. Smash that like button to push this vital information to the top of the YouTube algorithm, and share it with everyone you care about, because this is the one piece of information that could literally change their lives forever. Subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, because we are on the front lines of this story, and I will be providing you with breaking updates, expert analysis, and the unvarnished truth as this situation develops faster than anyone anticipates. The new era for the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong is not just starting, it is here. The only question that remains is this: will you be a spectator or will you be a participant? The choice and your future is yours.